is a script I wrote when I was 19. This is a script I'm still writing to this day. And this is just Paul. I look like such the stereotype of a screenwriter. What does a stereotypical screenwriter even look like? Surprise, I am one. Last week we spun the wheel on acting and filmmaking and acting. I can never remember what it's actually called. And I decided that one subject amongst the subjects that I talk about within filmmaking that we didn't touch upon yet is screenwriting. And like a lot of the other areas in my life, I've DIY'd my education in screenwriting as well. I pull a bunch of these video topics from my website, not excluding this one, called 4 Ways to Learn Screenwriting Without Expensive Classes. And like so many other articles, I wrote this particular one because I was seeing so many terrible screenplays being put in my lap by students, by amateurs. I was very confused because it's not very hard to learn the very basics of screenwriting when it comes to formatting, story mountaining. Not what it's called. Yes, it takes a lot of practice, a lot of field experience, a lot of education to be a good screenwriter. But when we're talking about a passable script, there are actually quite a few ways you can start your education for cheap or free, as I like everything to be, and I'm gonna lay it out for you right now. So the first way to give yourself an education on screenwriting is very simple. It is to read real scripts. If you weren't aware, almost any screenplay of any major or notable film is available online. All you basically have to do is Google my favorite movie, screenplay, and you'll most likely get a link that's going to lead you to a PDF that you can download and read at your leisure. If you need a place to start, you can go to a website called Internet Movie Script Database, and basically you can search by alphabet order, or screenwriter, or genre. This is actually how I got my start in learning how to screenwrite. I searched 2 movies that I really enjoyed in recent years because I was trying to write a really modern script, and that was Mean Girls and Juno. And these 2 movies were not only films that I thought were great, thought were hilarious, thought were so well written, but they also had a lot to do with the first screenplay that I was writing. It was in the same genre, it was in the same tone, so I was trying to find something that not only would teach me formatting and again the very basics of screenwriting, but it would actually help to inform what this kind of screenplay was going to look like as a whole. Maybe how many jokes were on a page, or how much character development happened in between all of the scenarios and the silly situations that were happening in the movies. The number 2 way to learn screenwriting is to read some screenplay books. I realize that all my hand motions are down here, and this is what I'm doing. Who needs a teacher and classmates? Just get the textbook. That was my joke in the article, my one joke. So there are endless books on screenwriting, which honestly can be overwhelming even more than it can be helpful sometimes. My image for the article was actually simply just a screen capture of Google Image when I typed in screenwriting book. If you need a good place to start, there are quite a few top 10 lists on the best screenwriting books out there. Both goodinteroom.com and indiefilmhustle.com have their own list of where they like to talk about why this screenwriting book is great for what you want. And if you want to see any of the links I'm mentioning, you can actually go down to the article link. This one article has all the links that I'm mentioning, all the websites, all the resources. I put them all in one place, so I didn't have to copy and paste to every single person I talked to. One screenwriting book I can personally recommend because I actually read it is The Guide for Every Screenwriter. Transparency, the author of this book, is a friend, and I've worked with him before, but I legitimately, no spons. He doesn't know I'm doing this. Surprise, Jeff. You're welcome. This is actually a really great resource for someone especially like me who will not read something over 200 pages. My God, when do I have time for that? But this is an incredibly, look at that slim waist. It's an incredibly small guide that he packed the information into. It was information, a lot that I was already aware of because I've been screenwriting for a decade, but to people that have no idea where to start when it comes to screenwriting, oh my God, it's like eating your favorite power protein bar because it's small, but it's got all those vitamins and nutrients, and it tastes good, and you know, you can carry it around with you in your purse. Oh, Jess, what's wrong with you? But as you can see, spilled coffee all over this. It's well loved. Thanks, Jeff. So if you are somebody that likes reading even a little bit, you've got your work cut out for you. The number 3 way to learn how to screenwrite or to add to your education is with online forums. If you've done all the reading and you're still hung up on some formatting questions, some specific details to something very particular that you want to do in your screenplay, there's a chat room for that. Even free filmmaking dictionaries and blogs, like mine, are available for you to cruise through on your lunch break. And if interacting with people, asking that question and expecting an answer from a human is your MO, then writerstore.com, screenwriters.io, and the Screenwriters Reddit is always there to give you all the advice you could ask for. And number 4, now that you've penned that first draft of your screenplay, it is time for somebody to read it. If you know any experienced screenwriters, or at least screenwriters that are more experienced than you, ask them of their charitable time to give your script a read and an honest review. Remember and repeat after me, criticism is good for you. You have no idea how getting a critique on your own writing makes you so much stronger, not only as a writer, but as a person. I thought that I had really tough skin from Wrecked Radio, but it wasn't until I got the notes back from multiple people on some of my first drafts of my first screenplay and realized that this perfect little morsel that I created, that I thought was just literally impenetrable, was so fallible. If you've never written a screenplay before, be prepared. You will finish your first draft. You will think that it's absolutely untouchably perfect, and then you will realize how wrong you are. Now, when you get a critique back with changes, you have to remember that the story and the final pages are ultimately up to you until, you take it to actual production. Then there are lots of other bosses on that field. But my best advice is to read or take notes down on a sheet, go to sleep for a night, and then wake up and really consider what those changes will mean for your screenplay. I say to give it a day, to give it a 24-hour period, because when you get some notes back like that, especially when you're very novice, when you are really just trying to figure out how to make a screenplay at all, let alone a story with a complete arc and develop characters and smart dialogue that's not cliche, it will sting. It will hurt. This is your work, this is your art, and some people, including myself, have trouble digesting the criticism right away, but it's absolutely healthy. Again, it makes you a better writer in the long run. Pro tip number 1, if you hear a note more than once, meaning if you gave your script to 3 experienced writers that are reviewing and giving you script notes, then that's the note that's going to be really important to consider to change, to make some kind of alteration to your script. When you hear a note about a certain character, about a certain plot event, about something in the script that's being repeated back to you, there's something wrong with it, then it's definitely something that you're not going to brush aside and say, I want to keep this is my baby. No, you have to change that. If you are someone out there who feels all alone, you don't know any screenwriters in your community, there are places to look for those people, and I do encourage you to surround yourself with other screenwriters. But there are some paid services. I always do caution to do your research when it comes to giving your money to any company. Read the reviews of people that have used the service before. Google the name of the company so that you can see if there were any upsets that were posted online, any other forums outside of the main website that you're looking at. But there are some legitimate services that are enforced with great screenwriters that can actually help you to define your work. It will just cost you some money. One I will recommend, again, no spons, is the company that was founded by, again, this guy, and it's called WeFixYourScript.com. And why I know to tout this one is because obviously, I know the screenwriters personally that are behind the company, and you yourself can look up all the biographies and accomplishments of all the screenwriters that will be reviewing your screenplay. At the end of the day, who you're going to give your script to is completely up to you, whether it's asking a friend or submitting to a company. Just make sure to get that experience of learning what it's like to get script notes back on your own screenplay. Pro tip, extra credit! So one of the best free resources that I have ever found for screenwriting was actually the Script Notes podcast on johnaugust.com. Besides reading other screenplays, this was one of the resources that helped me the most when I was developing my voice as a writer, as a screenwriter in particular. The podcast is hosted by Craig Mazin, who did Hangover Parts 1 and 2 and Identity Thief, as well as John August, who is the founder of the podcast. And he did Frankenweenie, he wrote Big Fish, the list, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, that's the most recent one. And they don't only talk about the screenwriting craft, they bring real screenwriters in to talk about their experience on different kinds of sets. They give an up-to-date introspective on Hollywood as an industry on the day-to-day basis. And they really provide a no BS kind of chat when it comes to just being a screenwriter, being a working screenwriter. Not even I consider myself like a working traditional screenwriter because I'm not the kind of screenwriter who's looking to be hired in a writing room or trying to sell my scripts. I'm somebody that wanted to learn how to screenwrite so that I could produce my own films one day. And I remember spending an entire month when I was drawing a comic book for a client, and I listened to probably, it had to have been a couple hundred episodes. Just let the information just soak into your head. Now let's talk about the things that you might miss since you're not going to class or going towards a professional degree in screenwriting. It's a complete cliche already to say that everybody learns in their own way. If you find DIYing your own education or finding your own avenues into figuring out how to write the best screenplay you can, that's completely up to you. But now that we've talked about all the ways that you can take the lesson into your own hands, let's talk about what you're not getting if you're not amongst a classroom. So first of all, you're missing that traditional classroom structure. You're getting that one-on-one attention from a teacher, a professional, somebody who does this year after year. This adds up to multiple days a week, focusing on a curriculum and being able to ask questions right then and there. You're also missing that multi-peer review experience. Talk about getting your script critiqued. When you're in a classroom, you sometimes have the advantage of getting multiple critiques on even one script at a time. Your education and experience in taking notes on your scripts is now streamlined, and you will have tougher skin than an elephant, I promise. You also get to be in the presence of other creatives and people that are learning right along with you. Writers that can add substance or new ideas to a script that you're already developing and a voice that you're already creating. And my final advantage for getting that traditional classroom setting is post-grad networking and industry connections. If not for the practical education that you will be gaining, being in a reputable film or writing program may fast track you to an industry job. Of course, a job right after college is never guaranteed. You're going to have to hustle during, after, and always when you're working in the film industry, especially screenwriting. Any established university focusing on film studies will most likely have a ton of alumni, supporters, and liaisons to real-life filmmaking positions. You may have to work a little harder to make those connections or to prove yourself as a skilled writer with your own self-made success. Hey, now it's time to spin the wheel. I hope you guys are having a good Monday, or whatever day you're watching this on. I don't judge. You can watch it a day later, just as long as you watch it. Live? Live? Woo! Live! Do we want to do a special episode, something that's themed like I often do? I wonder if I have any other ideas. And if not, we can just do a chat. We can just do a little fun like Q&A, a little just chatty chat. Honestly, sometimes it's more fun, but you guys can tell me down below if you'd rather just do like a very, very cash kind of meetup online. You don't have to ask me questions about myself. Like, we do that all the time. We talk about me all the time. So, or we can do a very structured something where, you know, we're doing something specific, like the last one we did, which was viewers create my Tinder account. That was a whirlwind. That was super fun. We could talk about that. We could talk about anything. That's why you have to comment below. I'm not gonna lie, I'm curious about how many people stayed till like after the wheel and through me like just talking and rambling nonsense. So I wanted to play a little game with you guys. If you are here to exactly this point, write down in the comment section, give me a purple heart, a specifically purple heart. And and people will see the purple hearts and they won't know what it means, but you're in the club because you were the one that got the code at the end of the video, and we're all special. And I will definitely give you a message back to say thank you at least, and hopefully more if there's something to respond to. I'm having a great week. It's kind of a chill week. I cleaned my room today. I know, what am I? A maid? My life feels really nice right now, and I hope that you guys are also having a nice life, and I hope that by any stretch of the imagination, I help to make your day a little bit better every time that I post, or any time that I post. I hope that I never make your day worse. Oh, that would be awful if one of my videos made somebody's day worse, because like I literally only make videos to make people empower themselves. Have a great week, guys.